Hello and welcome. Hopefully we're live. I don't know. It said we had an issue the first time. I ran into. Hopefully we're live. This is Unadvised here on the Sports Animal YouTube, Facebook, and here on our very own Twitter account. Yeah, looks to seem like we are good to go. Just going to go ahead and retweet some stuff. A lot to get into today, mainly Thunder related, as most every one of you know now at this point. Our sweet prince. Chet Holmgren has cleared whatever protocol he needed to clear, and he is back to action, and he will be ready to go, tomorrow night, T-Bag?
Yeah, that was this morning. I don't know if you heard the clip or not, Preston.
I did, yes, I saw that.
We had the Sham Wow bomb ready to go. I had the notifications on, and I see on my, just like a little, whenever you have like Twitter pulled up on like the little tabs on your desktop, and it has like the little, notification. I see that, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what trade was made. In my mind, I'm thinking, bench player for second round pick, Raptors to the Suns or something, just something like that.
Yeah.
Then I see Chet Holmgren, and I'm like, oh God, did he get traded? Then I see he's back, and I stood up and just started freaking out, absolutely freaking out. And I think the main reason was, for my excitement, I don't know how you reacted to it. I mean, I'm sure I was very excited. Don't get me wrong. But I think the reason for my excitement is that if this was March, 15th, I would have been like, oh, good news. Look at this. He's finally back. Let's go. The fact it's February 6th, like no one saw this coming.
Yeah.
We're having to have a return date of February 7th. Like that is
100%.
No one saw this coming. If you would have made me bet my next 10 paychecks on before or after the All-Star break, I would have said easily after the All-Star break. I wouldn't even been like nervous about it. I would have been like, it's a 99% chance he's going to be back after the All-Star break. But here we are. 5 games to go before the All-Star break, and Chet Holmgren is back, suited up tomorrow night for the Thunder, and I am stoked about it.
Yeah, Chet, 10 games he's played this season, averages about 26 and a half minutes. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play tomorrow against the Raptors. I would assume, probably just going to ease him in a little bit and not play too much. But in those 10 games, he's averaging 16.4 points, almost 9 rebounds a game, so a couple assists, and almost 3 blocks per game in those 10 games. So yeah, I mean, even in the video he put out earlier today on his socials and his YouTube, he said, look, I was on track to be, an all-star this season, and the injury kind of messed it up, and he was not happy, but I think he's the type of guy that attacked it with the right mindset, got through it. I mean, he showed kind of some of his rehab process in that video as well. It looked like, doing some work, and I don't know what they call that pool that they do work in, but like they put him in a pool where he's able to, work out a little bit while he's injured, because it's not as weight-bearing as normal, but it's definitely surprising. I'm with you. I woke up, and it was a late night at the station last night due to that game. So I woke up, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes after that tweet had been sent out. And it's one of those things where, you wake up and you're still kind of out of it. I grab my phone, I look at it, and it says Chet and Shams. I'm like, oh God, what just happened?
Yeah. Your heart drops.
Yeah. I kept reading a little bit, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's back. And yeah, it's surprising to me because, like you, I kind of had him pegged as going to be back after the All-Star break.
I was thinking early to mid-March.
Yeah, but this is a nice surprise. So it's nice to see that, he's a little bit ahead of what everyone thought his schedule was.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is I don't want to say I don't know why I was, but last night, for whatever reason, maybe it's because I had a little bit of cash on the game on the 13-point spread. Just last night, I woke up with a Thunder high this morning. I went to bed with a Thunder high. I woke up with it. I was just on a Thunder high. I was on an SGA high, for what he did, what the defense did in that third quarter. I was just ecstatic about the Thunder today. Now I'm ecstatic about the Thunder pretty much 24/7, But this morning I had a little extra pep in my step about them. Like, oh,
yeah,
that was just such a fun game. That was awesome. Just watching them play the end of that second quarter into that second half. So I was just already excited, and I was just, I even thought to myself like 2 or 3 times last night. I was like, wait till Chet's back. Just wait till Chet's back. What's it look like? And then so I don't know, like. I was just so excited whenever I saw that news. Like, I was so thundered up. I was as thundered up as I've been in a long,
Yeah.
long time whenever I saw that news this morning. It literally popped me out of my seat. It literally popped me out of my seat.
Yeah, and it's a great time to be a Thunder fan. What Shea in the last like month or something like that, he's averaging like 40 points a game.
Three 50 pieces in
Yeah,
2
three
weeks.
50-point games in 3 weeks, all on Wednesdays, by the
Yeah,
way.
all on Wednesdays.
I forget who they play next Wednesday, but be on
Heat.
alert.
Heat.
Yeah, Miami Heat. So the Heat better be on 50 burger alert because as I tweeted out last night, Shea is a 50-point merchant at this point now, getting 50. Never done it in his career, and he decides, you know what, I'm gonna go drop 53 weeks in a row.
He's the 8th player all time to score 50 points, and it's
Yeah,
3 times in a 7-game stretch.
and the
And
names
it's
on that list
like,
are some of the big dogs.
yeah, it's Kareem. Matt Ravis did it for his trivia question today, so did Spinozzi. Kareem, Elgin Baylor, like Steph, Kobe
LeBron,
Bryant,
Steph,
LeBron,
James
Steph,
Harden,
Harden, I think
Luca. Yeah.
Lillard. Not Lillard, Luca. Luca was
Yeah.
the other
No,
one.
I
Yeah.
believe Damian Lillard is
Oh,
on
was
the
he on it?
list as well. So yeah, it's a pretty elite name of scorers on that list that Shea joined. So good for him. And I was driving around earlier on my way home from work and was listening to Al Eschbach talk. And he says, maybe we're not like fully realizing how good this guy is at this moment because, and I agree with Al. He said, you look back at last year and this year, he's gotten better. I mean, this guy
Yeah.
just keeps getting better. And think back to last year, like, holy crap, this guy is playing at such an elite level. I mean, a lot of people, which, the MVP conversation was pretty tight last year up until the end and what Jokic ended up winning it. But I think this year at this point, while Jokic is having a fantastic season, what Shea's done the last, since the calendar turned to 2025 has just been elite basketball and he's playing the best he has. And to think that if he keeps doing this and keeps getting better each and every year, what it could be in, 2-3 years from now.
Yeah, the way, I mean, just last night was definitely one of the best games he's had in his career. If you're just talking, now just stick with the points. What he was doing, passing the ball, distributing the ball, playing defense. 2 steals, 1 block,
Yeah.
doing it on both ends of the court. I mean, he was just. I mean, I'm not comparing him to Michael Jordan because that's crazy, and I'm not doing that. I want that out there before I make what I'm about to say. I'm not comparing him to
Well,
Michael
and
Jordan.
I
The
won't
way
either.
he plays is
Yeah.
Michael Jordan-esque.
And
The
the
defensive level, and then the way he can just drive mid-range, slam on people. Like, that's another thing that's to this game is just dunking on people.
he's getting whatever he wants right now. And to your point, I would say that he's not Michael Jordan level right now either, but the stats and the numbers he's putting up this year
Yeah.
would lead you to believe like, okay, this guy, there's only been 2 or 3 guys that have done what he's done so far, like points and scoring wise in a career. And one of those is Michael Jordan. So yeah, I'm not ready to put that comparison on. I don't think
No,
anyone
I'm not comparing. I'm
deserves
just saying that,
yeah.
like, the way he plays is just such like a
Yeah.
Michael Jordan-esque. Like,
And it's an
obviously,
old
it's
school
a
type
step.
basketball way.
Exactly. He found an art of how basketball was played for so long,
Yeah.
and it's kind of gone away, and he's brought it back. He's found that art of the play hard on the defensive end, and then just find a way to score inside the arc.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's doing it at an elite level. I was just trying to pull up the box score here and look at some of these numbers from last night for the Thunder. 102 shots they took last night, which is crazy. They made 51% of those. So they went 52 of 102. Only 28% from 3 last night, so not their
They had a
best night.
stretch where they missed. I can't remember if it was the second quarter or third quarter, where they were getting every offensive rebound,
Yeah.
kicking it out. I think Caruso shot 2 of them, missed like 4 threes in a row, maybe.
Yes.
But that's what those are the moments where you clip it and then you put quotes wire NBA ratings down. That was one of those sequences right there. Whereas,
well, and it doesn't help when you have a guy like Jay Will that goes 0 for 7 and 0 for 9 from the field. So yeah, you can't go 0 for 7 from 3, but I applaud I'm just going to keep chucking this thing up until it goes in. That's
keep shooting.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Dion Waiters. I'd rather miss 30 shots than only miss a couple or whatever he said. So yeah,
Because that means,
Thunder.
yeah, what was it? I'd rather miss 30 shots than 20 shots because that means I quit shooting, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the quote right there. Yes, that's one of my all-time favorite quotes where I'm just like, okay, man, yeah, all right. Other Thunder say, you got anything else from the game last night? I mean, it was one of those things where at halftime they were down, and then in the third quarter, the Suns only made one bucket, and the Thunder just ran away with it in the third easily.
Yeah, that third quarter. I mean, that I heard Ravis talking about it. I went to run an errand during halftime, and I heard Ravis talking about uh, how many times we've seen this team, close in the late second quarter and keep that momentum going into halftime, into the second half. And that's what happened last night. They got a little run at the end of the second quarter, cut the lead from 12-2 before
Never looked
halftime.
back.
And that third quarter, it was never looking back, foot on neck, and let's win this and go home.
Yeah, 43-16, they outscored the Suns in the third quarter. Interesting, they only made one basket. The Suns did in the third quarter, which Aaron Wiggins was asked about it after the game by Matt Pinto, and he was like, "I didn't even realize that." That's crazy. So, yeah, they just continue to put up crazy numbers offensively and defensively. So, pretty fun times to have this basketball team here in Oklahoma City. Man, I'm just looking at these scores right now going on. Dallas at Boston. Dallas is up 44-29 right now. About 8 minutes left in the second.
I was excited for that game because Curtis and Spinoza were telling me that Anthony Davis was playing tonight, and then I saw he was going through like
Saturday,
a little bit pregame warm-ups, and I could have sworn I saw Saturday. Those guys are never going to admit, that team got them. I could have sworn it was going to be Saturday, but I got excited because I was convinced today that no, he's playing tonight.
Yeah,
and then I did see he was going through a little bit of like shoot around, like just like Kevin Durant was last night. We didn't know how he goes. I do have one more thing about that, but nonetheless, I saw he wasn't playing, so I kind of lost a little bit more interest in that game. Also, did you hear the Kevin Durant conspiracy? Why he didn't play last night?
I did not.
Okay. Actually, I think you might have, because I told this to Ravis today. He said y'all talked about it in the post game last night.
Okay, then
There's 3 reasons he didn't play. 1, legitimately hurt.
Yeah,
They couldn't play. 2, was on the trade block, which all indications point, yeah, he was on the trade block last night. 3, he's 26 points away from getting 30,000. Which only 7 other players have done. He'd be the 8th player ever to get 30,000 points.
Yes.
That's going to be his biggest scoring milestone because he's never going to be a team's all-time leading scorer. And, for example, for those listening out there, be like, well, why would that matter? For example, when Damian Lillard became the Trailblazers' all-time leading scorer, that was in Oklahoma City. The Thunder stopped the game. They did a congratulations day. He got a mini standing ovation. Game continues. And that's just to be the Blazers' all-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
This is to hit 30,000. A huge 8th player ever to do that. 8th player ever to do that. Huge milestone. He did not want to do that in Oklahoma City. He did not want his 30,000th point to be in Oklahoma City because he wants the full reception, which I get to a degree. It is going to be one of his biggest milestones in his career. But he knows, and I know the Thunder organization would have done the right thing and put up a congrats Kevin Durant. But the crowd would not have reacted very well to a congrats Kevin Durant on the Paycom Center's Jumbotron. So I'm full in on that conspiracy theory.
I was trying so hard because I also have sources in the arena last night that were close to Sam Presti that said they read his lips and he said the word Durant and he was on his phone a lot during the game. So I was trying to start the Kevin Durant back to Oklahoma City conspiracy theory there just because
that one.
Yeah, just because I want to see the fan reaction so bad. And not even like for basketball, because I think it would work out basketball wise. I think Kevin Durant's still like a decent player, but I prefer the Thunder team the way it is right now. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I would just love to see the mess and the storm that would cause on social media.
Oh, it would be. I mean, I remember you and Q-Tip used to have wars about this.
Yes.
About Kevin Durant coming back or not. I'm pretty indifferent on it. I always say I screw Kevin Durant for leaving us, but then again, like time heals all wounds. I've gotten over it.
Yes.
Still one of my favorite basketball players of all time. Probably the definition of a love-hate relationship. But yeah, with the way this team's constructed right now, you'd have to go way too much to get him back. But I'm for riling up the fan base a little. That would be fun.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find this bookmark tweet that I
Oh,
had.
While are you looking for that? Did you see that Bob Myers also leaked today that the Grizzlies were heavily interested in trading for Kevin Durant, and then he
I
said
did
it,
see that, yeah.
and then Windhorse is like, "Well, you just broke some news to us."
Yeah, I don't think Kevin was ever going to head to Memphis. So
No, I think he's going to wait for the offseason for a trade.
yeah, I believe so as well. Okay, one last thing on Kevin Durant in the Thunder, and we'll move on to some of the moves that the Thunder made before the deadline and other moves that happened in the NBA today at the deadline. So NBA Central on X tweets out, Kendrick Perkins says he was the real leader of the Thunder back in the day. This is a quote from Kendrick Perkins right here, if I can see it. It doesn't mean you're the best player if you're the lead, if you're a leader. When I was with Thunder, it wasn't KD, it wasn't Russ, it wasn't James. I was the one leading. Kevin Durant gets on Twitter about an hour ago, quote tweets it, and if you have children and you don't like cuss words, cover their ears before I start reading this. So Kevin Durant on X just about an hour ago to what Kendrick Perkins said today says, I know this may be a reach, but this comment is by far the craziest shit I've seen this week. Is Kendrick Perkins saying that he was the leader of the Thunder when he played in Oklahoma City, which I find that very hard to believe that old ass, big ass Kendrick Perkins was the leader of that locker room.
I think he was a leader in the sense of like, hey, if we're gonna,
the old head maybe in the locker room.
And if someone's gonna mess with us, he's gonna be the first one to step in because he's Big Perk. But yeah, if you're talking about, just leading the team, that was definitely, I feel like, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, I think.
Yes.
And probably what we know now, probably a little bit more Russell Westbrook because Kevin Durant's a little bit more quiet. But yeah, that's a good response by KD.
Yeah, here's what I think of Kendrick Perkins. He's had his book sitting in the producer's studio at the Sports Animal for like the last 2 years, and no one has picked up that book and read that book. It's been sitting in the same spot in the producer's studio up at the radio station. So that's kind of what we think of Kendrick Perkins around here.
Sorry, I got distracted. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb whenever we do shows like this. I just got a whole bunch. Like, how does this work? Anyway, I got a whole bunch of texts. It's not going to focus in. Let's see. I'm going to open my text. 22 missed texts right now from the Mavs fans in my life. All I know is I know they're protesting the game, and I do want to bring this up. I'm not going to read all those texts right now. I don't know what they're talking about. I just want to say that's funny. I did text them earlier to ask if they're watching tonight or protesting. And they said we're protesting. Yeah. And then they said, "Did you hear what's going on Saturday?" I said, "No, what's up?" There's a full-on protest going on at they play their first home game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Since the trade. They're doing a full-on protest, the arena. Like it's a full-on like gathered protest. Like all the Mavs fans are going, and they're like, "Did you hear like what's going on?" Like, yeah, they're expecting like tens of thousands of people to be outside American Airlines Center. Just a full-on protest the Mavericks.
So on X, I saw this tweet earlier. It's from Alex Stein, number 99. Alex Stein 99 on X. Mm-hmm. And for the life of me, if this is fake, it's one of the best fake videos I've seen. But it's him. I'm guessing Alex Stein. I'm guessing a comedian pulls up to a Dallas City Council meeting in a referee jersey, and this is on my Twitter at PrestonPool405. I quote tweeted it, or you can see it at Alex Stein 99. He's at the city council meeting, and he's just basically going in on Nico Harrison and the Mavericks for trading Luka. It's pretty funny. You'll have to go watch it. But I seriously, it took me like 5 minutes to be like, is this real or is this fake? Because I just couldn't tell. Because some of the stuff he was saying, I'm like, no one says it at city council meetings.
I did see. I haven't seen what you're talking about specifically, but I did see some stuff from city council. It might be the same thing.
Yeah, it might. But yeah, white guy in a referee jersey.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if it's on the same Twitter account, but yeah, I definitely saw what you're talking about.
Yes, it was. I got a good kick out of that for sure. All right. So the Thunder, as far as like trades went, mild. They didn't really do anything, which we kind of thought. So the Thunder trade for Daniel Tice from the Pelicans, and they've already waived him. So he's gone. I know there were some people saying, well, this backup big. This was never going to be a guy that was going to be on the roster and play for the Thunder. This was just kind of, which is crazy. The Thunder are still able to do this. But they're, this is what they were doing a couple years ago, right? When they're rebuilding, they'll get on expiring contracts
all the time,
waive them, or, hold them until the end of the season and let them walk, right? Gives them more cap space and whatnot. This is kind of basically what they were doing here. Because the roster they have right now is so good, they don't really need to add, anything. Like Sham said earlier today on that tweet, their addition, is Chet Holmgren being made available now to where he's back and going to be starting again. So that's really it. But that move, T-Bag, allowed the Thunder to sign our guy AJ Mitchell to a 2-year deal. So he's now on the big boy squad. He can play in the playoffs, and that they also in change signed Brandon Carlson to a 2-way deal. So he'll be on a 2-way deal the rest of the season. So just a couple little moves for the Thunder. Nothing major for the Thunder at the deadline.
Yeah, 2 things. So with the Daniel Tice thing, I see everyone talking about insurance big, and not that I necessarily disagree with it, but they're like, we're screwed if Chet or Isaiah Hartenstein goes down. It's like, yeah,
they've lost 3 games so far with Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah,
like, come on.
It's also like if Chet or Isaiah Hartenstein go out, you think Daniel Tice is going to come in and hopefully the Thunder to a championship.
Yeah, 6'8" center Daniel Tice. Yeah,
if one of those guys goes down, not saying the Thunder can't do it. I still think they could. But Daniel Tice isn't going to just make you be like, all right, we're got Daniel Tice back there.
Yeah.
So the insurance big thing. It's like, I mean, no, like
that's people get so swept away with that stuff, and it drives me crazy where it's like, well, they only have 3 big men now on the roster. They need to go get another one. It's like, dude, they play small lineups constantly. They don't need like 5 big men on the roster to have, a whole bunch of size. That's just not the way the Thunder play.
Yeah. Exactly. So this whole insurance big thing that people have been wanting, it's just like, I get like where you're coming from, but if Chet goes down or Isaiah Hartenstein goes down, like Daniel Tice is not going to be the answer to fill those shoes. It's just not not going to really help a whole lot. Secondly, with AJ Mitchell, super happy for him. Well deserved, obviously. He's going to be such a key piece, I think, going forward, leading that second unit with the playmaking, the distributing he's going to be able to do, coming off the bench. Going to be interesting to see what his role is going to be when he's back, because when he's back, it's going to be just about playoff time. So how much will he play in the playoffs? I tend to think probably not a lot, because he's a rookie who, won't even play half the season. So going to be interesting to see what that is. But just going forward for the future, I think AJ Mitchell's next year is just going to be like him and Nikola Topic. I think is just going to be like, those are just 2 pieces where it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You forget about AJ Mitchell, who I think is going to, be great next year. Then Nikola Topic, which all signs pointing the Thunder are really high on him as well. So, I mean, it's just it just looks brighter and brighter every day.
Yeah, and I think the Thunder, if he would have stayed healthy, would have wanted him to be the backup point guard, right? At the moment, because he was playing almost 17 minutes a game. It wasn't like, the biggest scoring guy out there, right? Only, 6.4, but he had flashes where he'd have games where he scored 15, right? And then he'd have games where he would score like the 6 and stuff like that. So it's all about being a rookie and all that in the NBA. So yeah, I like the move. I'm glad. I kind of figured it would happen since the way he was playing before he got hurt. But yeah, we'll see how they, get him into the lineup once the playoffs roll around, because I really do think they probably would have wanted to use him as the backup point guard for the second unit a lot more than what they had, previously had so far this season. But we'll see. That is going to be interesting as we get close to the playoffs and he comes back, see how that all, because that will really be at that point, barring any other injuries happening the rest of the season. That'll be the one point where the Thunder are, 100% healthy. Is a lot closer to the playoffs when they get AJ Mitchell back. Yeah,
I mean, Preston, I'm not gonna lie, I just sat there and kind of zoned out for 3 seconds, just thinking like what next season could look like too, with the second year AJ Mitchell, and then you'll have Nikola Topic in the lineup. It's so fun, so fun.
And
who needs college football?
Yeah.
Now that college football is over and we made it through, who needs it? No
Yeah.
UNOs, you can suck again next year for all I care. I come July 1st, once the Thunder season's
Yeah.
over, championship or not, I will have a completely different tone
Yes.
about all that. But for right now, until the Thunder
We're in
season
basketball
is
mode.
over,
Yeah.
I am full on NBA basketball through and through. I mean, just let's go.
Yes. By the way, I did see a video of Topic getting some shots in. So he's shooting the ball around practice and stuff like that. So he is doing good. David on Facebook says, "How's it going, guys? How about that Spurs trade? Who'd the Spurs even get?
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox. Going all the way back to that. I completely forgot that's
I know
happened
it's so
since
early on.
our last show. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox. Look, I mean, if there's a guy you want to go play with, it's got to be Wemby, right? Get down there, play with Wemby. I think Fox is a great player. Really don't know why Sacramento wanted to get off of him so bad, but yeah, no, I like the trade. I like what they're doing down there. I think the Spurs are still a year or so away from being like a really, really good team. I think Wemby just needs to get, his feet under him a little bit more in the NBA. He's already a great player.
Yeah.
Just needs to get a little bit more
They're the Thunder
experience.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Will they make that next step like the Thunder did, going from play into 1 seed? Probably not, because what the Thunder did was pretty much unprecedented. But yeah, I mean that's a great trade for the Spurs. I mean, he played last night, and I heard his post game too. It was right before the Thunder game tipped off on ESPN. He's just like, yeah, yesterday, I was doing all my stuff for my physical. I really didn't think I was going to play today. And then he went out there and he didn't have the best game ever, but he had a pretty damn good game for his
Yeah.
first game as a Spur.
It went better than the Kings' first game with their new squad because they lost that one. Yeah, Spurs are 2 games out of being in the play-in, so that kind of is right around where the Thunder were a couple of years ago. So, yeah, I like the Spurs going into the future, but when the future arrives, I will hate the Spurs with everything in my body. Just because that rivalry
They're
back
going
in
to
the day.
be a hated team.
Yes.
That's a guarantee.
All right, other trades in the association the last couple of days that we haven't talked about. Obviously, that Luka trade back on Saturday night of last week. We talked about that. We just talked about De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs. How about Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks, Chris Middleton to the Wizards? This makes not really that much sense to me. I really don't care much for what the Bucks did at the deadline. But yeah, maybe Chris Middleton is a guy that gets bought out in Washington, and a guy maybe Oklahoma City takes a chance on or something like that. Even though their roster is already full right now at this point, so they really can't. But you never know what could happen, right? There definitely will be a guy that Chris Middleton will be a guy that the Warriors are gonna probably try and go after if he gets waived. I'm trying to think of some other teams maybe that could go after him. I mean, like the Clippers or something like that. I'm just thinking of teams that need more guys. Because the Warriors were so thirsty, Teabag, at the deadline to get another star to go with Steph. They were literally calling everyone about all their star players, and the only one that they got was Jimmy Butler,
who said 2 days ago he didn't want to go there.
Yeah, and then immediately signs a 2-year extension.
And then they get rid of some of their depth. I don't know what the Warriors are thinking. Another weird trade for me. I'm excited. I'm going to read an article on it later, kind of see what their thought process was on it. Marcus Smart being sent to the Wizards, which is one thing.
That was surprising, yeah.
But the Grizzlies sent a first-round pick as well.
I think they just wanted to get him off the books so they could have a shot at someone. Down the road.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because that was just kind of like a weird trade. I mean, I understand. I mean, I'm not saying keep Marcus Smart. I'm just trading him in a first. It was just kind of like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Derek, excuse me, on Facebook says, "Are y'all worried like me? Maybe we thinking too far ahead, and maybe we get upset in the second round. I worry too much. I know.
Yeah. As excited, I'm like in defense mode. I got my guardrails up. Yes.
Despite what everyone in the league says, and I forget who it was on ESPN today said that the teams in the middle of the West aren't afraid of the teams at the top of the West. And I say, as a fan of a team at the top of the West, I'm not scared of anyone in the Western Conference. I mean, this team, the Thunder, have won 40 games before they've lost 9 games. They haven't been healthy all season long. The only team that can really, do anything to them is the Dallas Mavericks. And are the Mavericks going to make the playoffs at this point? I mean, they're a half game into the play-in at this point. We don't know what the Mavericks are going to do as far as when AD, gets. I still think the Mavericks are going to be good. I think they will make the playoffs, but I just look at the West and I'm like, which one of these teams worries me so much? And Denver, obviously, Lakers, I think is, a scary thing, but I don't think that LeBron and Luka is going to work out immediately. I think it's going to take some time for that thing to work out there. So there's not really a team in the Western Conference outside of maybe the Nuggets because they've been on a tear recently. That is just like so scary. You just are so worried that you might lose in the second round. I think that the Thunder for sure make the Western Finals this year.
Yeah, I do too. It's just I get, because I'm the same way where I'm a cautiously optimistic because everything's just too good to be true. Everything's just too good to be true right now. So I get what you're saying, but Preston, have you seen the Western Conference odds, to win the West?
I have not.
The Thunder right now are obviously the favorites at -105. So you have to bet $105 to win 100.
Yeah.
Second best odds are the Denver Nuggets at +575.
Yeah.
It's insane. That is insane odds.
They're good basketball. That's Celtics, like so many people are so worried. This is a good basketball team, people.
The Celtics have better odds to win the East.
To tell you.
The Celtics have better odds to win the East, and the Thunder do the West at -115. But the Cavs are +280. So that's a lot closer than Denver. And then the third best odds are the Knicks at +550, which is better than Denver. Who's the West's second best? So yeah, I mean it's
Derek also says,
yeah. Yep. That's
maybe
exactly
that's the
thing.
Derek. Maybe that's the thing because I am very much under the impression every time any of my teams play and I know that they're a good team, I'm under the impression they're going to go in, they're going to kick ass. No matter what, we're going to go kick ass and take names. Losing is never a thought in my mind when it comes to any of my teams that are good. And I've just always been that way. I'm like, no, and I can be realistic at times, right? Like thinking back to the Peach Bowl a couple years ago with Oklahoma and LSU.
You're like,
no, Oklahoma, 10 times out of 10, Oklahoma was losing that football game. Right?
Yeah.
They were not going to beat Joe Burrow in LSU. But, there's times where you have to be confident. You got to go out there. You got to put your nuts on the table and say, we're going to go out. We're going to kick some ass today, and we're going to go take some damn names.
That's why watching like the Thunder is just so fun. Is just because when you just get proven right by them, just night.
They do it, yeah. They go out and they do it, right?
Yes, 100%. You're like they're gonna come and they're gonna kick ass, and that's what they do. When they do it, it just makes you happy every
time. So part of that Jimmy Butler trade, going back to that, obviously Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. The Heat get Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, who they've already sent to Toronto at this point. Kyle Anderson, where there was a little bit of weirdness last night. They're like, is he going to Toronto? Is he going to Miami? He ends up in Miami. The Heat also get a first-round pick in that. The Oklahoma State Pistons get Lindy Waters, or I should say the Oklahoma Pistons get Lindy Waters, Josh Richardson, a second-round pick, and then the Jazz get Dennis Schroeder. They've already sent him to Detroit at this point.
A lot of local ties in that one now.
I know, right?
Yeah, old Thunder player.
Yeah. So that and really outside of that, we mentioned Marcus Smart to Washington, and then the Lakers in one I didn't see coming. They trade rookie Dalton Connect to Charlotte for Mark Williams, a big man. So they get their big man that they're going to match with Luka and LeBron.
Yeah, Mark Williams. I've read a little about him. I've only seen him play against the Thunder. Really,
he's kind of hurt.
He's been hurt a lot. I don't think he's played against the Thunder this year. And the Thunder played the Hornets this year. I can't remember.
I know they've played.
Yeah, they have because I remember Trey Mann being involved in that game. I mean Mark Williams. He's got a lot of upside stuff. But the Lakers for me now they don't scare me right now. It's more going forward where you're like, okay, they're gonna have some cap room. They have a
Yes.
young Luka Doncic. Mark Williams has upside. It's more the future of the Lakers compared to right now.
Agreed. Agreed. I think the right now, as far as teams right now that could beat the Thunder, it's it's the Nuggets. I don't believe in
Yeah,
the Grizzlies. I don't believe in the Rockets
Rockets are a
currently.
year away.
Yeah, and I think the Nuggets, as long as they have Jokic, are always going to be. It's kind of like the Buffalo Bills having Josh Allen. They're always going to be there as long as they have Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I think. Anything else on any trades or any NBA talk before I've got a Premier League question I want to ask you. So anything else in the NBA before we get to some Premier League?
No, I think we covered it all.
All right, my Premier League question for you then, Teabag, is I've been playing a lot of FIFA recently. I want to get into the sport more and watch a team. Am I wrong for picking Arsenal as a team that I would like to support?
Mm,
Is that just being like a front
no.
runner? Because I
Well,
when I
okay.
play on Go ahead.
Here's the thing with Premier League. You kind of have to, if you want to have fun with it, you kind of have to pick one of like the top six.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking.
So no, you're not. You're not. I don't like Arsenal. I don't like anyone but Liverpool. That's kind of how it is. They're all rivals. Those top 16 just
Yeah.
don't like each other. Obviously, Man U is definitely my least favorite, which would be really fun. They're not going to get relegated, but they're going to be pushing it, which is really funny. So no, you're not wrong. Arsenal don't have a Champions League final, so you could join the bandwagon before and slash if they ever get the Champions League
Yeah.
trophy. So no, I don't think Arsenal's a bad pick.
I've just been playing a lot of FIFA, playing Ultimate Teams, and Saka. I really like Saka. I think he's good.
Yeah,
Obviously
Saka's
he's
awesome.
hurt right now, or he's not fit. Whatever they say over there across the pond in terms of their players. But
I watched so much more Premier League when I was in college or soccer kind of in general because I didn't have like work
yeah,
or I mean, it's not like I didn't have like class or anything, but it's like 2 o'clock rolls around. You can
yeah,
watch a game in the afternoon compared to now. It's like I'm doing things with my life. So I really just kind of focus a lot on Liverpool now. I watch a lot more, like the Sunday 10:30 games or
yeah,
10 a.m. games, whatever they are. I watch those a lot too. Saturday, but primarily like Liverpool's always playing in those because they're such a big brand.
yeah.
Uh, so I haven't watched a whole lot of like other teams in the Premier League other than Liverpool in the last probably year or so. So I mean, I can't really tell you a whole lot about these other teams right now, but I do know Arsenal's obviously doing really good. I think they're second in the league right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're a front runner because if you want to have fun being a soccer fan, you kind of got to pick, one of the better teams.
That's what I was thinking, and like I said, I
Like
grew up. That was one of my first sports I played was soccer, and so I just trying to get back into it and watch it because I do enjoy watching it. I think it's entertaining. Plus, the no commercials is a very massive plus. That's the one thing Europe does a lot better than us is their sporting events like
so
Formula
much better.
One. I'm a Formula One nut. That's a massive European sport. There's no commercials. Once it starts, it goes and it ends, and there's no commercials. Premier League and soccer, there's no
And it
commercials.
starts on time.
It,
11 a.m. means 11 a.m.
yes. If a F1 race starts at noon, those cars have already went around the track and they've gotten their spots. And at noon, the lights go out and they start racing. Okay, we know exactly when it's going to start. It's not the yeah for everyone on Facebook. He is an OSU fan for sure. By the way, Derek, I play on Xbox. I'm an Xbox guy. Always have been. But yeah, that's the one thing European sports get right is that when it starts, it starts. And that's what I like.
Yeah, I saw yesterday too that the Premier League said they have no interest in playing Premier League matches in the United
I don't
States.
blame him.
But hell no, they'll do friendlies like in the summer. Like
Yeah.
you'll get a Liverpool versus Man U game, in
Or
Philadelphia or
have like the
something in July.
MLS All Stars against like
Yeah,
Tottenham or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the regular season. I mean, which I love because, like we said, European sports do it right. They're for the fans too.
Yeah.
It's nothing corporate. It is a sport. It's not some corporate thing like we do over here in America. They're for the fans, and they're like, no, like our fans are we're gonna play
Yeah.
these games in England or in Spain or wherever, and
Yeah.
these are for our fans. These are not for the American
Well, and
fans
I saw
outside of
someone else
television.
mention like the Premier League. They have like the FA Cup, the Champions League, and all that they mix into the season as well. So it's a lot harder for them to to fly over here. And by the way, speaking of going to other countries, it appears that my Chargers will be the host for the Brazil game this next season.
Congratulations.
And then, yeah, congrats, right? And then the season after that, the NFL will be playing a game in Australia. Yep. So that means that kickoff will happen.
That's a flight. That's a flight now.
Yes. That means that kickoff's going to happen at like midnight or like 3 a.m. or something like that
awesome.
here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Look, buddy, you say it's awesome
get home from the bars and then you watch the first quarter before you pass out. That's a great way to end the night.
Wake up and catch it on Sports Center.
Dude, I do want to give a RIP to Virginia McCaskey. Passed away today.
I did see that today.
Mama Bear. So RIP to her. 101 years old. Life well lived.
All right. So the other day we did like some headlines. I've got a pretty big headline that's been going around recently. I don't know if you have TikTok or not. So you might have seen this. The 33-year-old woman from New York that traveled to Pakistan. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to talk about her. It's Onijah Robinson is a 33-year-old.
I've been trying to get Phil to talk about this on air.
Yes. Onijah Robinson is 33. And this, that's what I put right here. Next is the headline from the New York Post. New York woman ghosted by teen lover after flying to Pakistan for wedding, refused to leave, then demanded $100,000 from the government. And obviously it's come out now that she's got some mental problems, so it's very unfortunate. But this lady's like a hit sensation over in Pakistan. The media can't get enough.
Loves her.
Yes.
And then she turns the questions on the media. She knows what she's doing.
Doing press conferences. We got an American over there doing press conferences in Pakistan because she got ghosted from a guy she met online. And then she's like demanding, I need $5,000 USD every week. I'm going to fix Pakistan, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, are you trying to get into politics? And she's like, no, I'm just here to fix Pakistan. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? And then I don't know what they're called over there in Pakistan, but there's like a community like help, professional or something like that. Helps people that are, in trouble and stuff like that. So he went and, was trying to help her. And she just, during an interview was like, you talk too much. And everyone's like, he's trying to help you, lady. What are you doing?
She told one of the reporters that was talking in Pakistan to other Pakistanians, like, no one knows what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone does, but you actually.
Yeah. You're literally the only person that has no clue
you're the
anyone
foreigner.
Here has said.
You are the foreigner here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome story. I've seen a little bit on it.
She also they got her eventually into a psych ward to get like evaluated. She escaped and she went back to like the house where the guy was at. By the way, the guy with the family, they dipped out. Once she showed up, they dipped out. They flee. They wanted nothing to do with it. Yeah.
The whole family abandoned the house.
And I can't blame them because it was pretty crazy. But if you have TikTok, get on TikTok and just search Onijah Robinson or New York woman in Pakistan, and it's a pretty funny rabbit hole to go down for sure.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit on it. I'm probably a little late. I think last night was like the first I saw on it. I told Phil about it today that he has to talk. Like we have to get the story on air because this is too good.
It is very good. Yes, she's out there. I think she's back on her way to the U.S. though. So. Yeah. Well, so what happened is like she was over there, her visa expired. She just didn't want to leave, so they renewed her visa to stay. And then eventually I think they probably talked her into going back.
They're like, all right, this is enough. Like, you gotta go.
Yes. They're like, you can't stay here, but you got to get the hell out of here for sure, is probably what they were like. So all right, that's gonna do it for us. We'll be back.
I do have one more thing. I forgot to mention this. I have it pulled up and all. I think the Cavs made a great trade today, getting DeAndre Hunter. Gave up George's Niang.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Karis LeVert, stretch wing, 6'8" guy that can shoot the ball, averaging 19 a game. So I think that really helps Cleveland going forward, especially when they're probably inevitably going to face Boston in the East Finals. Yeah,
I think that is. Some teams got better, some teams got worse, for sure. So we'll see. How that goes. I was just looking to see if we had anything else to bring up. No. All right. So that's going to do it for us. Like I said, we'll be back at noon on Super Bowl Sunday to give you a little preview of that. We'll do that live Same place, noon, Sports Animal, YouTube, Facebook, here on our very own X account as well. I'm Preston Poole. As Tyler Adams. Until next time, if I can get this going, everyone have a great one. Good night.